Right. Sure.
Thank you guys. See you.
Thank you, Rahul. Okay. Straight away to the non-core session because it's the last session and I don't think break is required. Uh, so let's get to it. Uh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't like I'm saying break is not required because when you go, you might not come back to listen, and we want you to listen to all these things because right now you might think that all these things are not that might not seem that useful to you, but definitely you will come back to this, replay the video that we share, and will make notes when you are sitting for placements or internships. Uh, and because it's not easy to retain and grasp everything we are saying, but believe us, it's important, and at some point it will help you guys. So it's okay just stay and watch video later. Yeah, Sachin has replied to one question. So, non-core session will be taken by me. So let me just me and Shushmita, who has joined. We also tried one more speaker, but unfortunately he got corona positive. So he will be available in the mentorship session. And let me brief you about all of us. For my name is Jay Bansal. I got campus placed in EXL Analytics. I have worked in EXL in KPMG, and currently I have worked in I'm working in ENY as a senior consultant. So it's been bit of a journey. My experience is mostly concentrated in data analytics section and finance section. So I am doing data analytics and finance. So I have knowledge on both sides and what you guys can do right now in both the sections to get a grip over them, and how it will help you in the job even after getting the job in the interviews. So I will cover all these range of topics in finance and data analytics domain. Now we have Shushmita. Shushmita got campus placed in PNG, and as you guys know, ITC, PNG, HUL. These three are the premium companies, or the you guys can say one of the best companies that come to our campus. And so she has experience in operations, and branding. A lot of you guys, there that come has been put up in non-core, and why not core? Because PNG job is completely non-core. It is related to operation, sales, and branding. She talked in detail about it. And the third person who we had was Neeraj, and Neeraj got placed in ITC. Uh, Unfortunately, he got corona positive, but he'll be available for one-on-one sessions anytime. We'll share the contact and Google Forms with you. Shushmita, can you please introduce yourself and about your work a bit?
Yeah, sure. Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, okay. I will switch on my video in a bit. I've connected through my phone. My laptop is going through some Windows update. So meanwhile, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Sushmita Binal. I've been working with PNG for the past 4 years and there for setting this up. Um, I have had experience across various fields within PNG. So I started off by managing operations. So any hair care products that you see within India and subcontinent right now, when it comes to Head and Shoulders, Pantene, Herbal Essence. So that production happens from the plant that I work in. Over the last 1 year, I have taken up the role of managing launches across India. So the promotions that you see, like 4+1, buy one get one, or reformulations, etc. So me and my team are involved in scaling it up. So basically, the R&D team comes up with a proposal, or the sales team comes in with a request. So what my team does is we take the request in, we assess if at an scalable level. So it is like across day-to-day productions, how we can day in and day out, can my machines produce the requirement that is coming in, and then we go back and confirm to the business team saying yes, we can support the demand or modifications etc needed for a launch. Just a simple example, if you can see in Amazon, if you buy a 650-liter Pantene bottle, you would see that it is shrink wrapped. Now shrink wrap requirement came in because there were leakages, etc. And to deal with it, they came up with a solution of shrink wrapping. Now, this is just an idea that comes from, the sales team or marketing team saying, we should try doing this. But it is my team that puts together, we think, okay, what machine should we procure? How can we install it? Where can we install it? And will it be able to give the throughput needed to meet production demand? So my background is through and through in supply chain, where we care of product supply. And over the last 1 year, I've started working closely with the sales and branding team. So I understand how it works and how I act as a communication between supply chain and sales and branding. So I can give you a little background on what is needed for a career there also. So this is my introduction. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, just drop it in the chat and then we'll be able to answer it. Okay. Yeah, Jay, I think you can start.
Right. So I'm sorry, I was on mute and I was speaking. I didn't realize. Yeah. Starting with what is data science and what is finance? I have made a PPT, like not a PPT, a slide of it to give you an example. So I hope you guys can see my screen. Okay. Just put a thumbs up if you can. Okay. In data science, what we do is we collect any kind of data and we generate insights out of them. That is data science in simple language. The companies that we get on our campus are varied, starting with ZS, then EXL, then Deloitte, PwC. I think so now in a lot of core companies as Sovik or Mahesh was saying that you need data science to make predictions and to do everything. So data science is a domain, is a varied domain where you can if you love numbers, data science is for you. If it is a completely desk job, you have to sit in front of your laptop like for 10-11 hours, and there will be at times there will be interaction with your team, like you will be in calls for 8 hours a day, and you are the speaker, you have to speak, you have to present, and there may be the days where you are writing codes for 12 hours a day. So by codes, I mean simple Python codes, SQL codes, Tableau, dashboarding, and all that. So it's a completely desk job. A lot of interaction is there. And if you love numbers, data science is for you. So to make it that way, second, uh, what kind of companies come in and what do they ask for? So I was briefly part of EXL hiring process, like the first round of the process, not for campus hires, but for the lateral hires. So what we really look for if you guys can solve different case studies. There are a lot of case study books. Please go through them. You have a lot of time. We'll share more case study books, puzzles, guesstimation. So all the companies want to see in how many different directions you can think of. So by different directions, I mean it's not necessary to reach to right number while solving a guesstimation problem. What is necessary is what how many different factors you can include in. To give you an example, in Excel, how I was asked how many trees are there in our campus. So if you can bring different factors in all the hostels, all the playgrounds, all the khali banjar zameen that is there, and everything that will work in your favor. Now what you guys can do right now to get into these companies, uh, first of all, you cannot focus on your core subjects to get placed in non-core companies. Yeah, you can always refer to what you did in your heat transfer and mass transfer, and by looking at data, if you got a very good insight, but uh, you might not be able to spend more than 5 minutes of your interview in that, and you might be in that case. Case study takes space, or right now, as we discussed yesterday, you guys can visit these websites. One second, screen share. Yeah, these three websites, I'll share these slides with you. AWS public data these sites have free start solving these questions, start thinking about these questions, and even if you solve one complete, even if you do one complete project in your break, that will really help. That will be really helpful. Just get certified, just submit that question, and just get a completion certificate from Kaggle, and that will be enough. Or if you have done Python or Tableau certification from Coursera or from anything, it will be really helpful, and it will be helpful for core jobs also, because right now you cannot go to a lab or do something, but you can do such things to get placed in data related jobs. Now coming to finance section. So in finance section, how is data science related to finance section? So one thing I want to tell you, there will be no company that will directly come to the campus and will place you directly into finance. It only happens in MBA colleges, that company directly comes to you. No, at least not in engineering college, that company directly comes to you and place you for economics, or from supply and demand problems, or from different finance related problems. But easily you can diverge, or you can do data science and finance, and that's how at the end of 3 years in the job, you will open yourself with n number of opportunities in finance without doing an MBA. So what you can explore, so I have written very big names here that you can explore right now. No need to stress yourself out with all these exams right now. I will explain you what these three exams are. First, starting with CFA, it is not for third years. You can only give CFA in your final year or in your job. So CFA is kind of an hygiene factor for finance people. So I tell you how it will benefit you. So let's suppose you are going to final year, and you have signed up for CFA, and you are having a company in September and October, and you have your CFA exam in November. So what might turn up, let's suppose out of 10 subjects that are there in CFA level 1, you have read for 2 subjects till your placement comes up, your and you have just written in your resume that you are CFA L1 candidate. That is enough. Just writing that is enough, because companies will ask question on that. Just writing this much line, that what have you read in CFA, and they will want to hire you if you have proved that you have read good. And if you get certification, I can talk about EXL. The people who had any of these certification got their US visa much faster than the people who didn't have. And I'm not talking about visit visa, I am talking about H1B, permanent work visa. So that's how important these certifications can turn up to be. Maybe not in the first year of your job, but in the later years, like in the second year, first year, like with your certification, you have done a good project, and then you can go walk up to just your manager or your VP and tell them, I want to travel. And this puts a lot of weightage. So for final year, don't stress yourself out with CFA and everything right now. I just want you to explore and see if this is something that interests you, because the, if you sign up for this is a heavy thing to do. There are 3 levels to it, and each level costs you more than 80,000. So it is a costly exam. If you do not clear it once, you have to spend 80,000 again. Now coming, I'm just talking about CFA right now. Now coming to how will you finance your CFA? So since you guys are in college, there is a scholarship program for CFA people, and a lot of people do not know about this. But please, while signing up, please check out their scholarship program. Since you are in college, you will get it. So that is how you can sponsor your CFA exam, get placed in your data analytics company, and you can go to finance and digress to finance in your area. Now there is one more option that you can think of, and this is for all 4 years. If you are 12th pass, you can do actuaries. So actuaries is all related to your insurance. Like if you want to be king in insurance area, you can do that. And actuaries is a little bit of cheaper, on cheaper side. So per exam it is like 6 to 7,000, which I think much more affordable. Does anyone have any question, Raj? Okay, so actuaries, but the trick with actuaries is it has 23 papers. So even if you sign up for 1 or 2, even if you clear 1 or 2 papers in your college, it will be really beneficial for you in any of the company that is coming for any of the management area, because first 2 papers are just basic finance, basic maths. It does not get deep into the insurance thing. It is very basic. CT1 and CT2, I have given both the papers. I have flunked both of them twice. I have not cleared them, but I have given actuaries twice. So from speaking from personal experience, I might have got one skip promotion and might have something better to speak in my interview if I had given actuaries. And same is the case with FRM. So these are the areas that you can do right now. So I'll tell you the order in which you have to focus. First, focus on Python, Tableau, getting some certifications here, getting your hands dirty, because Python and Tableau has become hygiene factor not only in the data science but also in the core domain. As you guys know, Rahul Sethi and Sovik and Mahesh were also speaking about it. So get your hands dirty, give first preference to Python, Tableau, do some projects in them. Then if you have time, check out these three of them. Whichever suits your domain, go with it. It helps you not only in traveling abroad, but also in switching. I have seen people going from EXL to Flipkart to Amazon, and working directly with CEO of Flipkart after getting 2-3 years of experience in EXL, and because the person was just CFA L2 clear. So he had that credibility that he will bring some new insights on the table every time they are talking about any strategy in finance. So that's what it brings to you. So I think I have covered most of what I prepared. Yeah. So I was talking about the order in which you need to prepare. First of all, prepare your quant, your case studies, share n number of case studies with you. You won't be like a lot of questions, guesstimation, because written exam is it case studies, guesstimation, and all the quant problems. That will put your foot in. Second thing is interview. If you have Python, Tableau, VBA certifications, that will bring something on the table. Since colleges are not into play, and with vaccination, we might not get to go to college till December, but this will bring something to your resume to talk about, since there are no fests and everything. After that, priority, keep these exams as your third priority after case studies, Python, Tableau, then CFA and actuaries, because if you do not clear these two, you will never reach these level. So that is my say. Anything else? Put your position of responsibility, your life experience in the best way you can in your resume, because interviewer will ask about your public management, your client management, and don't be afraid that you have just a 2-month internship in which you interacted with just some local vendors. That brings a lot of value to your resume. Put it, highlight it in as good way as you can, because that is important. Yeah, I think so. That was it. Highlight your internships as much as you can. Yeah, I think that was it from my side.
Hi guys, Kushagra Bhatnagar here again. I'm sorry, I just want to add one more thing that Jay asked me to mention after regarding how do you make a transition from a core job to a management field. I mean, this question was asked in the previous session also, so I was staying back for this session just to answer this question. See guys, at a certain point of time, if you don't feel that you are inclined towards being inclined towards in a core job that you're working in maybe, and you want to explore the field of management, or you maybe want to consider switching your fields, there are MBA is a very good way to go about it. It's not it's not the only way to go about it, but it's one of the definitely most trusted ways to go about it. You can always understand what your interest lies in. For example, if you're working in a core field in an operations domain, and if you want to specialize in it, you can go for an MBA in supply chain management. Or if you want to go into consulting or finance, then also a general management degree helps you. So definitely at any point of time when you feel that you want to make a transition into your profiles as such, MBA is a good way to go about it as it opens your options up. First thing. Secondly, Jay mentioned about CFA and FRM. These are definitely good certifications in finance. And if you are looking to join companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan and Chase, Bank of America, Nomura, etc., which offer finance entry level roles in these companies, the two ways to go about it is one, doing an MBA from a P school and getting placed in these companies as a business analyst or a financial analyst when you start off. And second way to go about it is passing your level 1, FRM level 1 to CFA level 2. See, the thing with CFA is that it's a very expensive exam. Each level costs around 1 lakh rupees. And as you progress, it's a 50 to 60K investment that you have to put in, along with at least 6 months of preparation for CFA level 1 and almost a year of preparation for CFA level 2. So, people who would want to gain work experience first and not yet sure about MBA and the, I mean, exorbitant cost that MBA has, that an MBA program has, can always, and if they are very clear that they want to go into finance. So for CFA and FRM, you have to be very, very clear that you want to go into finance. Only then you should make such an investment in the first place. So if you're very clear and you still don't want to go for an MBA before you can start preparing for your CFA or FRM, both of them are good exams. FRM is risk management and CFA is corporate finance, basically. But if you're not sure if you want to continue in the same domain, marketing, sales, advertising, etc., then MBA is the best way to go about it. And you can take your time and gain some experience and decide when you want to go for an MBA. So I guess that answers questions regarding how to switch from a core to a non-core profile after graduating. What is the relevance of CFA and FRM? And how can you land a finance job after NIT Trichy? Jay, please let me know if I can touch base on any other thing or have I covered everything?
No, I think you have covered. Hello? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks,
I can
Jay.
hear you.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, that was it. I'll share the order that I just talked about, that in which order you have to focus. There was one question that I'll take and then I'll let Shushmita speak. Could you give some more insights on how case studies interview go and how we can better prepare for it? To prepare better for it, solve as many case studies as you can. And one important thing is, since you are at home, find a good mentor who will perform interviews with you. So I did that with my sister. I was switching, so I switched job to ENY in my lockdown. So I knew that. So there are 3 rounds, and talk your work, they talk about your personal, and at some point they come this study still 3 years later after college. So take help of someone, give them let's suppose you have read 2-3 case studies and we'll give you a number of case studies to study. So let's suppose you have read 2-3 studies and you feel that you know how to approach it. Ask someone to ask you question and then solve it with same gravity, with same dexterity that that you will do in your interview. So that is one good method to go about. Watch as many YouTube videos as many you can. Then and when I'm talking about case studies, I'm covering all 3 things: customization also, case studies also, and there is one more thing: puzzles. So they give you puzzles. So if when you have practiced enough, sit in an interview with someone you have at your home. Now at least for next 5 years, come to the campus, because when you, and I think CC conducted online, but you might not get that amount of interview preparation. I'm hoping you will get. I'm saying if you feel there's some gap there, read and ask someone at your home to ask as many questions as they can. So that will bring up your confidence. Yeah, if anyone has anything else to say, please.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi Raj.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Uh, I have studied Python, C, C++, and data structure and algorithm. But I still didn't know job and all related how the study related use and like that. So
Okay, okay. In which year you are? Third or fourth? Like which you are getting in?
now I'm getting into third year.
Third year. Okay, okay. So one good thing, since you already have these kind of certifications, you have a lot of time uh, to put into play. So if you know Python, if you think you know basics of Python, as I said, that download a problem from Kaggle, try to solve it in Python. If you are not getting a start that how to start working on this problem, there is a scoreboard on Kaggle. Go to that scoreboard, check out the top solution that will give you a start. So after you do this, and one problem will take you weeks to solve, 3 to 4 weeks. Don't get demotivated if you just write uh, 20 lines of code in a day. If you can just write one logic in a day, that does not matter. One problem will take you weeks to solve. So once you solve two of such problems, you will get an idea that why what is the use of Python. Then since you are still in third year and you have your winter vacations and summer vacations left, uh, go to all the websites such as Internshala. There are number Let's Intern. There are like 20 websites for internships, and so try finding o- if offline, if physical movement is started till uh, next year, then try finding such kind of internships. If online, try finding such online internships and sign up for them. You will definitely get into one of them, and that will be considered as your third year internship. You do not need any other internship. If you get a third year internship, you will get those 3 to 4 credits. That is also taken care of, and then put these things in your resume. That will definitely bring color to your resume. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, I cleared.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Shushmita, can you please take up this?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I don't have any PPT or anything to take me through, so I will just go with the flow. What I would like to start talking about is, firstly, from college, how do we step into the whole work profile mode? So for companies like P&G, ITC, HUL for that matter, most of them hire directly through internships. They don't come for final year hire. So the first thing to do is to crack the internship interview that they conduct sometime in third year. So there are 3 parts to it. So the first thing is cracking the online test. Now the online test, there are 2 parts to it again. One is the psychometric test and the other one is a logical and reasoning test. Psychometric is very specific to P&G, but the other companies also have a test that you have to do, which is logical reasoning. It is not at the CAT level, but it is at a, if you honestly ask me, it is at a GMAT level. So ideally, if you're already preparing for GMAT, etc., it is pretty easy to crack these logical reasoning and all of those tests that happen. So that is the part one to it. Once you score, and it is not about scoring 100% in this, it is about getting a score of at least 80% plus. So this helps you get a foot in the door. The second level of screening done by most companies is a resume screening, and I will talk more about resume in a bit. Once your CV resume screening is done, and then the third round is your interviews. Now, interviews also happen in two types. One is your technical interview, and the other one is your HR interview. So this is the whole hiring process for mainly FMCG or management-based companies. I think it is somewhat applicable for technical companies also. Now, coming to a resume. Now, in other fields, especially the technical aspect of it, having a good GPA is an indication that, okay, you're technically strong. But this doesn't hold true in the case of management profiles. Managerial profiles like you to have a good CGA, but it is not, I mean, good could be anything between greater than 7 to 10, wherever it wants to lie. But the second thing about a good resume is experience. Now, when you want to work in the management field right out of an undergrad college, the only thing that really matters is experience. Now, when I come to say experience, it is about what you do in the summer or as part-time or your college extracurricular activities. Now, given COVID, I understand college extracurricular activities are not there, are not happening. And when I say extracurricular, it's like, either managing events or, being part of a president of a club or anything like that, that used to help. Now, what I've seen work, and I have seen this because I know the new hires coming into the company right now, is very niche things like Instagram. So people who really work with Insta reels and Instagram related business, they're doing it as a business. So all of that helps. Again, when it comes to experience, the other thing is if you are working within your community, so community experience also works. Now, like I said, it's a very tough time. Even people who are helping to do COVID relief efforts, managing, COVID funds, etc., are getting a lot of visibility. Now, management is all about visibility. So you need to really be doing work that stands out, is unique, and shows your leadership skills. So this is something that people are really looking into, especially the interviewers that are going in right now. They look at these sort of things. And that should be there on top in your resume. Your resume should always be, first you mention, of course, your CGPA, etc. But the experience that you mention has always been the most recent experience on top, and the remaining experience is coming down. So this is one sort of experience that helps you put your foot into the management company. The other thing is technical projects or your normal standard technical listings. So you can actually do really well in technical projects and still work in a management company. This I will explain more during the interview phase. So having those experiences, especially working out there, you could even work for free in a startup. Doesn't matter if you're not getting paid the intern money or not, but it is all about showcasing that you have demonstrated that ability to work. The third part is, of course, coming to the interviews. Now, interviews are all about what you're doing in that 1 hour or 1.5 hours of interviews that you have. Interviews is all about having a performance in that 1.5 period. You need to firstly be 100% sure of what you're going to answer for each and every question, starting with introduce yourself to why do you want to join this company. Now, I'm emphasizing on this because a good interview means you've done thorough research about the company, you're sure of why you want it, and how well you are, how willing you are to go the extra mile to work in that company. Now, how do you prepare for an interview? There are multiple websites. Some things that people still use are Glassdoor, etc. The second thing is igotanoffer.com. So this is a fun website that really helps you prepare for things like case studies, group discussions, etc. that happen during the interview work process. This helps you, get a gauge and idea on what is going to come your way. And case studies as well as group discussions are very random. Some companies use case studies from their own experiences or a problem that they're currently trying to solve. Say, I know PNG, for a matter of fact, uses case studies that are live problems that they're trying to solve, just to see how well people can solve it. Group discussions are very random. They can give you as silly topic as discuss the number 5 to a genuine serious problem like, women in the in politics, like how can a woman survive in politics. So there are extremes to what topics. Being updated with current affairs is very important, again, when you're looking into the whole management profile. So interviews, coming to the interviews bit, now again, 2 types of interviews. You have a technical interview and your HR interview. The technical interview is basically they ask you questions about your CV because they have shortlisted you basis your resume. So you need to be 100% thorough of what is there in your CV. What to put in your CV, again, any sort of experience that showcases you in a leadership position. Charity drives, working with businesses, setting up your own business or setting up your own club, etc., that you have done, or technical projects, anything that you did in the summer where you have independently demonstrated project management skills. It could be like how Jay and Kushagra, Souvik all were telling, like, you found your project on data analytics, you did it, you solved it. That should be part of your resume because it showcases what you can demonstrate. So your resume is something that really puts your foot in the door and gives her. Then they question you. Interview is all about just verifying what you wrote in your resume is true or not. I would strongly advise against lying in your resume because in PNG itself, I have spoken to people who go in for interviews and they're so experienced that they can actually filter out who is telling the truth, who is not telling the truth, like etc. So you need to be very careful about what you put in your resume because interviewers are taught techniques to filter it out. They always know what to ask, how to ask, so that they know if you're actually done the work or you're not, you're not presenting the true work. Another thing very important that you have to demonstrate during your interviews is very good communication skills, especially when FMCG companies heavily rely on email communications, presentation skills, and general the way you speak English. So if you really want to impress someone in the interviewer, you need to start working on your communication skills. There are apps like I don't remember the names. I can put it in the chat group. Apps that help improve your spoken English so that you can speak, articulate what you want to say very nicely during that interview. So interviews are all about communication skill and how well you have your technical mastery. Now, sometimes they do ask questions on your projects. For example, for me, they asked me to explain something about the heat exchanger process, which we have studied, but you need to know how to simply put it in such a way that the interviewer understands. So communication is very important during your interview bit. The HR interview is all about how you are as a person. So when you introduce yourself, how you talk about what your dreams, aspirations, etc. Now, another thing is they ask you what are your, weaknesses and strengths. Now, some people trying to be cool do say things like, one of my weaknesses, I like doing everything perfectly. Now, that is not a weakness, right? So nobody has to go about saying things like, you can actually say that, you have a weakness like I have trouble meeting deadlines. Now, why do you, and then you can say what you do to improve on it. Just don't try to be very pretentious during your interview. It is all about keeping things very straight to the point and honest. This really creates a different, and this kind of sets you apart from people who are doing the conventional thing. So this is how it works. This is the whole interview process and how to get into companies. Now, PNG, ITC, and HUL hire primarily through internships. You can directly apply to internships in these companies through their website, even if they don't come for campus placements, because internships is the best way to get through. So please visit like the PNG hire, HUL hiring, and ITC hiring websites. And I would say directly apply through their websites instead of going through the those websites that give all the open jobs, etc. Because when you apply directly through their website, it is there in their record. So please apply for internships in these through their websites only. That will be helpful for all of you. There is no special preparation as such or courses that you do that will help. But once you get now, one other thing I would say is don't be very picky when companies are coming to for placements. Don't be like, or I will only sit for this company, or I'll be sitting for XYZ companies, because any experience counts when you want to switch into the techno management field. For example, you got into an average company, you've been working there for a year and a half. You can still apply to companies like PNG, HUL, ITC through their website after a year. And you will, and one thing I would say is do not try to apply for things like sales, marketing, etc., because they are sales and brand jobs generally require a minimum of an MBA to start off there, unless you have prior experience in the field without an MBA. So apply for things like associate manager in product supply, because product supply is where they directly take people from BTech colleges. So if you're looking for jobs, look for associate manager product supply in any of these three profiles. You will be easily able to crack even with 1.5 years of experience. The second level is, say, for example, if you've already gotten into a company, an FMCG company, and you want to switch to sales and branding. Now, switching to sales and branding is possible if your base is there in a FMCG company in product supply. For example, Amazon, Flipkart, even Apple for that matter. Sorry, if someone has a question.
Mangesh Kota, do you have a question? Okay. He's on mute.
Okay, sure. Okay. So how can you switch to sales and marketing after a year or two? It is all about, again, applying to certain companies. For example, Flipkart, Amazon, even Apple actually take hires from base companies of PNG, ITC, and HUL. So you need to, without an MBA, if you really want to switch to the field, this is the best way to do it. You'd have a couple of years of work experience in these companies, and then you can directly apply to Amazon, Flipkart, Apple. And in these cases, you can actually negotiate a 30% pay increase. So I have a lot of colleagues who have done that, who are currently working also. So the first step in is through working for these base FMCGs, and then you can switch your profile. The other way and the easier way to do it is getting into startups. Now, this is a little controversial topic because startups sometimes pay well, don't pay well, etc. But I have a lot of friends who have done their right out of college, taken a gap of year, 2 years, etc., and started working for startups. Most startups do hire people out of BTech colleges, especially those interested in fields of software, sales, marketing, branding without a MBA degree. They prefer BTech people who are really passionate. You can actually visit the website startupsindia.com. I think that is the name. There is a list of startups that are always available, and you can directly contact them to find out if they're hiring. So either they have a website, an Instagram page, or through LinkedIn, you can contact to get work there. Now, again, getting into startups, one thing that they really look for is your LinkedIn profile. I don't know if anybody has covered it earlier, but LinkedIn profile in the management world is very important. LinkedIn actually also offers certification courses. So if you look at it, LinkedIn has their own course academy. And if you complete a course in the LinkedIn Academy, it will actually reflect in your profile that you have completed this course and you have gotten certified in it. This really helps recruiters who are looking at your LinkedIn profile to help you get a job there, or at least get into the interview process. So LinkedIn is something that is a sort of like your identity in the management world. So if anybody wants to hire you, there are in fact recruiters of Amazon, Flipkart, and other companies within LinkedIn, and they just purely filter recruits through their LinkedIn profile. So in the management world, something really important is to have your LinkedIn always up to date and always you should be ready to, and of course communication. The only thing that I have seen, and if you're really good at communication, right, your background, nothing matters. You can actually get into any company. And I have seen that work. I will take a pause here for any questions, queries, or maybe we can answer questions from the forms that was raised.
I have just one thing to add to what Shushmita said. So I cleared the written or the exam and GD of ITC. So what happened in the interview, I mentioned that I am pursuing actuaries and I had already cleared this entrance exam. Don't do that. If you are doing CFA actuaries, don't mention it in ITC, PNG and HUL. So that is that I think that was the point they rejected me, because they are not looking if you have already told them that you want to go into finance. So it is completely in. When Shushmita is saying ki visit their website, visit everything of PNG, what she means is visit, read everything of profile, come back to her, talk to her again. Please uh, ask her. I'll put you in contact with Neeraj also, who is working in ITC. Ask them about the profile, that these are the 10 things we have done. What should I say? Not should I say? How can I articulate them? The thing she said about spoken English is really important, because when you get rejection from ITC or PNG, I still regret it. So it's a you take it on your heart. So please be very careful what you say in these interviews. Okay.
I think just to come back to that point, it's very valid. You need to convince the person to hire you. You're not there to convince them that you belong there, or that you're a good candidate. You're there to prove it to them that PNG or ITC or HUL is a dream company that you've been dreaming about. You can have handle facts you can throw in into the conversation, like when PNG was founded and how they started off, and all these stories are available. But you're there to convince you belong there, right? So don't put in anything that is irrelevant. Like, for example, I know people who mention, right, like, for example, they ask you on your face, okay, you have a GPA of 9.2 or 8.7. Do you think you're going to pursue higher studies? You said no, right? You can say something as ridiculous, no. I like working, I want to work in PNG because it offers, now what it offers, you need to be very specific about answering those questions. You need to wonder why you want to work for a company as PNG. Like, for example, PNG offers directly management level jobs where you have people reporting, etc. And you can say things like PNG has a very good work culture, so that is why you want to work for PNG. In the case of HUL, you can say that they give you early responsibility and they have a very good training program. So their first year training program is so good that they give you different aspects and you can train in that. In the case of ITC, ITC is a huge company and it has different, it works across varied profiles. So you can say that, they can give you experience across. So you need to be very company specific, mentioning brand to convince them that, okay, you've done your research and you belong there. You can't just think you prepare for PNG interview and then you can just walk into an ITC interview or an HUL interview. You need to prepare, and you can actually use Glassdoor to find out questions that they ask during the interview process. So you will have a rough cut idea of people who have answered, what they have answered, etc. Another thing while answering questions during an interview process is there's something known as a star format for descriptive answers. You can research about it, but it is always, you start with the problem. Like, you summarize what the problem statement is. If they're asking you a question, this is my problem statement. Then the next one is all about explaining what you did to solve the problem. And in the end, you mention the conclusion, like, by taking XYZ actions, I was able to solve the problem. There's a particular format that you should follow while answering your questions during interviews. And that, again, you can get it on the net. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 12:15 and we do not have questions on chat. So as yesterday we share forms with you, feedback forms with you. Please come back to us with your questions. We will share mentorship form by tonight. Anything else, guys? Please unmute yourself. Ask your questions right away. Don't bother to type.
One more thing I would add before I think one more question is, if you are planning to do an MBA abroad, and especially if you've worked in a techno management company in India, I would, if you can afford and financially
Shushmita, there's a question.
Yeah. Yes. So research internships also is good. I did a research internship when I was sitting for PNG. You need to write, you have to write any relevant work experience. Now, when you're doing a research internship, just make sure that you understand why you did the research internship, right? You need to be able to answer the relevant questions. Why you did it, how will it benefit, and what did you learn? Now, learning is all about your experiences there. And one thing I've seen these companies, what they like to hear is, okay, while doing the research internship, say you faced a failed experiment or your first model was not successful. What did you do to get it to a successful model, or how did you plan out? So the interviews are all about identifying your thought process. So any experience is relevant experience as long as you're able to answer it properly. But yes, please mention research internships in your resume.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
So, what is the response which you had given to all the three companies, PNG, HUL, ITC, when you told them that what is the reason that you gave them to join their company? You would have
Okay.
your answer. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can tell you for PNG, I think for ITC, and you can ask Neeraj or Akila for HUL. But and PNG asked me why I wanted to join the company. I had spoken to a lot of seniors or people that are previously working in the company. Now, I found out from them that what are the things that drive, say, a company. And this is very important. That is why LinkedIn is important. Find people who already work in the company, reach out to them and find out what is working well. Why is the, for me, what I found out was PNG has an amazing work culture. Like they really support, if you want to do pursue, say, a hobby or anything like that, they allow you to have flexible timings and everything. They have a very, very strong ethics and moral. So this is something that PNG really believes in, that, everything that you do has to be ethical and moral. So I played on those values. So I said it is one of the oldest FMCGs. It's almost 180 years old right now. So the point that I said was, if it is. Yeah, sorry. I think Jay, if you
Jay, mute
mute the person,
Mute yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you really want to do, you can see it is a 180-year-old company that has existed for so long. And if a company has existed for so long, they must have good values and ethics practices that they follow. And then I also mentioned, for example, the brands like Pantene, Head and Shoulders, etc. We use them every day. So you want to understand what is there, how is it made, etc. So that gives you an experience platform to understand what happens behind the scenes. So this is something that these are a few points that I mentioned, very specific to PNG, to convince the guy like, hey, look, I know about the company. So talk to seniors. I think that's something I forgot to mention. Use LinkedIn, connect with people and find seniors who have worked there and just ask them questions. Most of them are very willing to help. Like I spoke to a lot of them. You can just call them up or ping them on LinkedIn and they will tell you, how can you get into the company.
Just one more question. Does some kind of a recommendation work? Like if you get connected with some of the seniors from our college, if you somehow try to get a recommendation from them, would that be helpful?
See, I know for a fact that PNG does not believe in recommendations. They help you put your name in the list, but after that, it's a completely independent process. It is the same in the case of HUL also, because I have friends in HUL. Your name goes on a list, but beyond that, it is a very independent process handled by a third party. ITC, I am not aware of.
Okay, so the people who conduct the interviews are outsourced. They are not people of the company.
So it is a branch of HR. Like there will be one person from PNG involved and the interviewers are from PNG, but the person who manages the application process is a third party. So they go through the standard checks, like, have you scored 80% on the online test? Then they filter you out. Have you send in your resume and fill the online question? They filter you out. So only when a application is 100% complete, then it is sent to PNG for the rest of the process.
Okay.
One thing that I want to tell about psychometric tests, please be coherent. I think a lot of people did this mistake. You don't realize, but you think it is just an opinion-based answer. No, it is not. Because to give you an example, let's suppose there's a question like there are, let's suppose, 70 questions. It's a huge set of questions. Second question is, do you like to work in a team setting or alone? You wrote alone, okay? And then there is a 55th question, do you like to go out of your way and help people and something like that? And you said yes to it. Like, kind of, I'm not sure if I've put up the best example for it. It does not add up that you do not, at one place, you do not want to work with a team, and at the end, you want to help people. Because if you work in a team, sometimes your achievements might go to the team, and sometimes achievements of the team will bring good to you. So you need to put things that adds up, and it's very important in PNG. PNG has this test. One more company has this test. So please be mindful of the fact. And I think only 2 people cleared PNG psychometric test from our class. Shushmita was one of them. So she can speak more about it.
Yeah, so guys, about this, one of my seniors actually told me, "Mere se bharwa lena chahiye tha." That means I could have filled it for you. So this test is not proctored. Be smart about it. It's not ethical, I know. But if you know someone who has already cleared this from your senior batch, you might ask for them for a hand there, right? Be logical about it. It's not. It's your personality test, but what in the end matters is how you perform in the interview. Sushmita might not agree with that, but that's been my experience.
And I know many people who have done it, so it's fine. There are people in the company who have done it also.
Yeah, so in the end, if they are able to perform there, then it doesn't matter, right? How you clear that.
Personally, I wouldn't say that I don't agree with it, but sometimes situations are desperate.
Be smart about it. Be smart about it. That's all.
As a rule of thumb, not only for PNG, but in psychometric tests, be consistent. You'll be asked the same question in different forms every time you are given that question. Be focused on the fact that if you answered something in negative in the first place, remain so. I mean, if you keep changing your responses, drop your score down. And this holds for every psychometric test, be it MBA interview, be it company interviews. Wherever you face this kind of test, be consistent. That's
like, if you decide at the beginning of the thing that I am the best person, then any question where they ask you, do you think you are good at studying, or are you good at leading the team, or anything like that, you put, yes, I think I'm very good. You just consistently say, I am amazing throughout the interview, throughout the psychometric test. If you decide you're a team player in the beginning of the thing, every question that says it is an independent or team player, you click team player. You like handling hard situations, challenging situations, or you like an easy life, you decide you like challenging situations. Every question that has that, you answer as challenging. Just don't decide halfway to know too much around it. It doesn't work that way. Psychometrics are designed. Yeah.
So
Sorry. go ahead.
Sushmita, water on the bridge. Did you fill your test yourself?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, like she's gonna say the truth while it's being recorded.
No. Very painful test, especially if there's good Wi-Fi, because most
Yeah,
tests tends to
Painful
restart
when
from
you
the
it's a
don't
beginning.
lot
get
of
it.
questions.
Yeah, it's around, I think 80, 85. I think now they've increased it. And it's just like 10 questions they're asking. It's so tired
Yeah,
test.
it's
And
pretty
it's not just
irritating.
PNG, everywhere else.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. It is
I want to ask
designed to
one thing.
make you. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we have like any platforms where we can give mock test of these, like just to
It
practice?
does not matter. It
No,
does
it
not
will
matter because
matter. It will matter, right? Because you will have some kind of experience to keep that constant
if we
thinking throughout the test. Maybe if there's a scored psychometric test which they can take for free. Well, I've never done that, but why would that not help?
Yes,
let
you
me
can
tell
go.
you
You
why.
can go
First
online and website.
rather than like
So
the
I
second
I
test.
don't know. I have experienced it, or I have not heard of anyone who has done it. I mean, if there is a platform and you're able to find a platform, please share it with everyone, because it would be good. I mean, experience always counts. I would say that. So if you're able to find out, it's a very good opportunity.
And in the
yeah,
end, I would just say you should not miss out on an opportunity like PNG just because you fail to be consistent throughout a personality test, right? So yeah, Jay, you're saying something.
yeah, I was just saying ki, guys, please share everything with your peers. If you come across something new, please do that. You are not on campus. You have very less time to interact with each other, and that matters a lot. When we were in class, just because someone was telling something, we stopped and started chatting. We had a lot of time to walk with everyone in corridors and everything. Please share everything with your peers. It does not matter that who will get it first, because we think that when we are in third or fourth year that I won't tell this to anyone, I'll become the king. But please don't do that. Please share everything with your peers.
Very good point. Because there were a lot of times when we used to catch seniors also, and then just sit on the stairs in hostels and
Correct.
discuss topics.
Yeah,
So we
used to
couldn't, of course,
happen a lot in
a
fairs
lot.
everywhere. Yeah. So and you guys don't have that, so that's a negative for you. So try
Yeah.
to
So
do
please
something
call
to
people up. Yeah.
yeah.
And don't feel shy to contact people. I'm telling you, I know people, like even now I talk to some of my seniors. I just chat with them. Some of them are in the US, UK, anywhere. Just ping them and just start talking. Everybody likes to talk. This is something I learned. Okay, so everybody likes to talk and give gyan. This is consistent throughout. So feel free to reach out to people. Any other questions?
I just checked on your link. I mean, I just saw your LinkedIn and it said that you are staying in Himachal. Like that's
Yes, yes.
so. Is it like? I mean, how you adapted yourself to? I mean, I think Himachal is very far away towards the hilltops.
Yeah, the plant is in Himachal. I stay in Chandigarh, which is down here, away from the mountains. You get used to it here. After a year and a half, you'll be fine. And then see, the thing is, you work with people of your peer group. Everybody here is in the age group of between 21 to 30. So you will always have people around to help you adjust, like whenever you come in. And if you seriously can't adjust, I know people who have faced that issue. We have posts across Mumbai, there is a plant in Goa, Hyderabad, etc. So after a year of performing here and you can't adjust, you can always ask for it. Most companies are very flexible and very accommodative when it comes to such requests, provided you are doing well. If you're not doing well and then ask such things, of course, they will not entertain it. But if you're doing it, very accommodative and they'll move you wherever.
Guys, one thing, when you send requests on LinkedIn, please put a note. Make use of those characters. It's really beneficial. and people do read that. Out of 20, at least 2 to 3 will reply, definitely. So don't shy away from sending this. Put your main agenda of the meeting in that note, whether you know them or not. It does not matter. A lot of times we shy away because we think we do not have good communication skills. We come from very humble background. Doesn't matter. Diversity is accepted everywhere. So please speak up, and that's all. I think 30 now.
Yes, I mean, if any questions are there, you can let us know. I think another 2 minutes we can wait, take questions, and then we can close if there are any. And well, a good point, Jay said. Well, sending a message, always have a note, and in your profile also, right? In LinkedIn, you can actually switch to seeking a job. So if you can click that bar, that will also be helpful. So people are aware also. So that helps. At least it helps recruiters know that you're a profile that they can look into. Yeah. Any other questions? For the more brave souls, startups is always a very good option. And
Are there any
if I had not gotten into
batchmates
PN.
who have done that, like your batchmates who have gone to startups?
I don't know any of them. I know some of my friends post work who have gone into startups. So
Startups as in
Jay,
jobs in
Kushagra.
startup or started something up themselves?
Jobs in startups, I guess. I don't know.
If you consider Byju a startup, then yeah, I'm working for a startup.
He's working in a startup.
They are teaching second standard kids to write code now.
That's
Yeah,
right,
I
hat
saw
junior.
Even second years don't want to do that. You are teaching second standard kids.
Yeah, I don't know anyone personally from. I have a few friends who are working there right now, but again, the best way is LinkedIn, NIT Trichy, startup name, and you will find the person.
There are many. So I am in the group NITT Entrepreneurs. If you want, you can join that. But none of my batchmate is there. Like who has started something, as far as I know. So like most of us follow conventional path for like 5-10 years job and MBA or MS after that, and then we what I have seen in NITTNs that, and after that, after paying off loan 5 years down the line doing MBA, they do start something, and there are a lot of examples of it I can give. Okay.
One more question. I have one question. Do you connect with some of the alumni who have probably joined even further ahead of you? Like maybe let's say PNG, for example. There must have been some alumni from a very, very old batch who are there. Like, would you be able to connect? Like, how do you connect with those people, and how has it helped you basically?
Oh, yeah. So we are a gang. Like we have 10, 15 of us who have joined. We have our usual connects, etc. They really help coach and groom. So at least for me personally, my NIT Trichy seniors have actually coached me and guided me. Like for example, like you asked, I was here in Chandigarh. It was my NIT Trichy seniors who used to take me out on a weekly basis and say it's okay. And here it's cultural shock because people speak Hindi all the time and you have to get accustomed to eating aloo paratha every morning. So getting me those dosa during the weekends, and even from a career standpoint, they actually open up and tell you things like, this is a career path that will be good for you. Say, for example, if 5 years down the lane, I want to work in Dubai, what are the roles available there and how do I get there? So that is all things that seniors help. And this is not just true in PNG. I've seen this happen in HUL also and ITC also, that people tell you what career path within the company you need to follow. So always great to connect with your seniors.
Same goes with EXL.
Within the company and also externally.
Sorry, I was just saying same goes with EXL. I was in connect with EXL seniors, and we had weekly chats. Like he used to make time for, even if he was seeing me in the corridor, he used to stop and okay, Jay, let's sit for 5 minutes and talk. What if you need my help? So your seniors will always help you.
And always connect with your seniors when you go for your internships, your internship PPTs, midterm, end term, in between, all of that. You have, if you get it vetted with your seniors, you have a higher chance of getting a PPO at the end of it, because they've gone through it and they know what the company wants. So if you have gotten an internship opportunity, the first thing within the first week, what you should do is find your senior and sit down with them, have a conversation. That always helps.
Even for getting internships. If you, because our campus internship scenario is not good at all, at least for a chemical, and in lockdown it might have worsened. So please reach out to senior different companies, find out files, reach out to them to put referral, to reach out to HR. Some will help. I did that.
And
I didn't get a
yeah,
campus place. Yeah.
and you can also find out their hiring windows also. Like for example, summer, we have for example, PNG has an internship window that starts from as early as April, it ends in September. So those opportunities will always be available on their website. So if you talk to different companies, you can find out what is their range or which period they open up both jobs and internship opportunities. So you can always find out and then apply them.
Guys, I think
Yeah.
taking individual questions into
Yeah.
sensitivity, you can always reach out to us personally on our LinkedIn, on our emails, etc. We can get on a one-on-one conversation, help you address your questions, and guide you better. If there are any questions that are of general importance to everybody, now's the time. Otherwise, we can call it a day. Jay, what do you say?
Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
And if you do research and you say you find some companies, etc., that you want to work for, you can always ping Jay or any of us. And if we know people who are working there, we can definitely help you connect to them. So there are no common questions like Kushagra said. I think we can close.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Nice talking to all of you.
Thanks a lot for the session. Today's session was really helpful.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys, and great effort, guys. Thank you for turning up.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So
Recording stop कर दो भाई.